Hi, in this video I'm going to go over the operation of the G-Tools Ecstatic plugin for Reallusion's iClone 7. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to start with the plugin already installed. If you need instructions on how to install, please check out the readme.txt that's included with the plugin, and that's also available on the product page on Reallusion website. Alright, to get started, you'll want to load in and place your avatars. And there's a couple of reasons for that. When you first load the plugin, it scans for all the avatars in your scene. If there's no avatars loaded, then the list is going to come up empty. It's easy to fix. You just close the plug, load the avatars in, and rerun the plugin. The second reason is the avatars need to be placed into position before you run the plugin, because the movement is based on the position of the avatar. So if you move the avatar after the position's been calculated, that can cause some strange effects. Alright, so I've already placed these avatars in the scene, a pretty basic scene, 2 avatars, floor, wall, bench. So now we can load the Ecstatic plugin. So you go up to Plugins, it's under G-Tools, and Ecstatic. Okay, I'll put it in between here so you can see both the avatars. Okay, before we do that, let's take a look at the animation without running the plugin. So we'll just hit play here. Actually, there is no animation. They're just sitting there and they blink once in a while. Okay, so that's the before. Not too inspiring, huh? Okay, at this point, if you just wanted to add default action to one of the avatars, you can do it in basically 2 clicks. You select the avatar, you'll select the policewoman, and then you say, if you want the normal action, you just say add movement to timeline. It's going to say, give you some hints about setting up the look at function here. Make sure avatar is selected, go to the modify panel, in the look at section, click on pick target, and then you want to go over here to where it says the avatar name look at, and you would click on that. And so let's do that. It automatically selects the avatar. You come over to the modify panel and you want to find the look at. There's a hotkey for that. It says look at 0. So if you press 0, or not 0, O. If you press O, it brings that up to the top of the menu there. And you say pick target, and now you'll see the cursor turns into little crosshairs. So you move those crosshairs over to the policewoman look at prop and click on that in the scene manager. And now the policewoman's going to look at the prop. And that's it. So what exactly did that do? Well, if you look over at the scene panel, when we added the policewoman avatar, it added a look at prop and a link to prop. Okay, and the names correspond to the avatar you selected. So if you have multiple avatars, you'll have, and you use a plugin on all of them, you'll have multiple look at targets, each one named for the appropriate avatar. Okay. So we showed how to set up the look at function. Let's repeat this for the second avatar. So we just go up here, we select Kevin, and we want to, let's make Kevin nervous because he's sitting next to a police officer. Again, we just add the movement to the timeline. It's going to give us the reminder. Kevin is selected. We say look at the Kevin look at target. He's looking at that. And that should be it. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We'll take a quick look at the animation here. Actually, I'm going to make this full screen so I can see it a little better. Move this kind of out of the way here. Okay, so this is, we haven't added any motion clips. This is strictly 2 clicks on each avatar of this plugin. So for a background character, I think this really adds a lot of life. You could even use it for a close-up. So anyhow, let's take a closer look at the interface here. Let me stop this animation. Go back. Move this to center. All right. Obviously, we have the avatar selection. The next section is to choose a preset action. So we've got normal, relaxed, conversation, and nervous. So conversation keeps the motion to a minimum. It's as if you were looking at somebody's face and kind of, following what they were saying. Relax is a very slow movement. Nervous is quick, jerky movements. All right, the next section below that is the time parameters. So you set your start and end frame that you want the motion to be recorded during. The frame interval, is basically that determines the speed of the movement. And this is the frame interval and pause is just for the head. The body movement you don't really have much control over. It's kind of random. But the frame interval, so the longer the frame interval, the slower the head turn. And then if you want them to pause, when they turn to one side, they want to pause for a while before they turn back to the other side, you can open that up too. And then below that, we have 2 separate sections. One is for the movement of the head, and one is for movement of the body. So the head can move up or down, left to right. And then these lower 2 are actually for the target that they're looking at. So this would be the distance from the avatar, and this is the height. If you have a tall avatar, he's looking down, you probably want to lower the height. If you have a short avatar looking up, you probably want to raise the height. And then the body wobble is the rotation of the body. So Z is kind of a twisting motion, and then X and Y would be more like leaning back and forth. The next couple of things are to either include or not include the motion, so you can do one at a time. If you have one motion that you like and one that you don't like, you can clear that. So let's say we didn't like the wobble animation. So we did like the head animation, so we'll uncheck that so it doesn't get re-recorded. We'll clear the wobble animation. And this is only for Kevin. And now we'll say add movement timeline. It goes through the same reminder. So, we probably won't notice because I didn't really memorize what his movement was before, but he actually has a new wobble movement now that he didn't have before. So for somebody sitting on a bench, this might be a little extreme. Because you can see him kind of sliding around on the bench. So you could change this Z value down to something like 200 or 250, and that would be a little more natural. But if they're standing up, this movement would not be too extreme if you're just looking at a head and shoulder type shot. Okay. Now, one thing I want to mention is if you don't uncheck these boxes and you run the animation again. So let's say we're gonna add movement to the timeline for Kevin. The head movement is turned on. The bobble is turned on. Okay. Now if we go back and play it again, he's actually got 2 sets of keys in the timeline. Let's see. It's under. Oh, that's another good point. The movement isn't tied to the avatar. The movement is actually tied to the prop. So if these avatars have motion clips, they're not affected at all, and you can erase the movement of the props, and it will still retain the original movement of the avatar. Let's say you had idle movement on the avatar or something. So that's a neat feature there. So if you look at Kevin's look at prop, there's now 2 sets of keyframes in here. And what'll happen is it'll jump from one to the other, because one set might have been from here to here to here, and now there's a second set from here to here to here. And when we play back, you'll see what happens. Okay, see how Kevin's kind of like snapping his head all over the place. That's because he's jumping between two sets of animation. So you want to make sure that if you're going to redo an animation, that you clear the animation first and then add the movement. Okay, so now if we play it back, his head movement's a little smoother, but we actually have two wobble animations in the timeline. So let's clear the wobble. We'll redo the wobble. And now we have one set. We should have one set of wobble, one set of bobble. And that looks a lot better. Okay, just a couple of tips to wrap up the tutorial. One I mentioned earlier was to vary the height based on what the avatar is looking at. You know, maybe they're watching a plane up in the sky. Maybe they're watching their pets or their kids playing on the ground. So you can change that height to make them look up or down. Another important feature here is underneath the look at target, there's a look at weight. So this really affects the strength of the head movement. So let's say we have Kevin selected here. Let's say instead of making him look around so much with his head, he just kind of wants to have his eyes darting around. So you move more towards eye. You can see right now his head is moving back towards center more. So we'll do something like this. And now his head won't move around as much, and his eyes will move more. Sometimes he gets set in a starting position because he was looking at the target in the first frame, and his head's off at a weird angle, and it just starts from that frame. So if that happens, you just want to clear the animation, start again. Now that obviously would clear motion files if you have them applied, so you want to be careful doing that. Since we cleared the animation, it also cleared the links. So now we're going to pick the link to, which is Kevin link to, and we're going to click the look at target, which is Kevin look at, and now he's looking at the target. Okay, we'll just start everything all over again. All right. Okay, now let's adjust the, see, it reset the look at weight to more towards the head. So let's set that back towards the eye. And now let's watch the eyes. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoy using the GTools Ecstatic plugin, and thanks for watching.